Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Kirby Bat. That's right, as seen in Season 2 of the Nick Turtles cartoon series, Kirby Bat comes to action figure form. So let's go ahead and take a look at him. As you can see, he comes in the standard Nick Turtles blister card packaging, featuring that purple and green color scheme and fully showcasing the figure within. And then flipping it over to the backside, we get a new bio for Kirby Bat, as well as a look at all of the figures in Playmate's Nick Turtles toy line below that. So Kirby Bat here is the result of April's dad Kirby O'Neil accidentally getting mutated. Now in the cartoon series, he was actually nicknamed Wingnut, who is an older character from the classic Ninja Turtles toy line and series who was also a bat. So I'm not really sure why Playmates named this guy Kirby Bat on the packaging. It very well could be some sort of copyright issue for the toy. Now this particular redesign is an interesting one. I will say that I'm a huge fan of the classic Wingnut character, and this new version here doesn't really look a lot like the old Wingnut. He's quite hideous looking actually. You can see that it's quite a nasty mutation that April's dad received. The sculpt of the figure does a pretty good job of capturing that really nasty looking mutation that poor Kirby suffered. Taking a look at his head, you can see it's very misshapen there. It has ears on the side of his head that are like the wings of a bat. You can also see that on the top of his head, he's got like a big green vein kind of bulging out of it, and running along the sides of his head, he's also got red veins. He's got sharp white fangs sticking out of his mouth, and does have a nice flattened nose, which is a nice nod to the classic Wingnut character. His body is also that of an interesting design. One of the weird things I found about this guy is the fact that he's got one normal-sized arm and one tiny arm. And the way the tiny arm was done on this figure is that it's part of the sculpt of the body. So the little arm is non-articulated. It does not move, it's just part of the sculpt. And the overall paint job of the guy is a bit basic. He's kind of a flesh tone in color, but he sort of has this brown fur look, kind of starting at the midway down his torso, running down his legs there. And then he's got this huge, ugly, purple bulging vein that is running right down the front of his body. And then sticking off his back are some brown wings that also have giant hands at the ends of them. Now the wings themselves are unpainted, they're just cast in this sort of maroon reddish colored plastic, but does have some nice sculpting on there. You can see kind of the veins and everything in the wings. So let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation on this guy. The head's on a ball joint, so it's able to look left and right and slightly move up and down. Only the left arm is articulated, as I stated before, and it's on a ball joint, so it can move up, down, forwards, and backwards, but there's no other articulation in the elbow or the wrist. The legs are also on hinge joints there, so the legs can spread outwards, move forwards and backwards, but again, no other articulation in the knees or the ankles or anything like that. And then the wings that are on his back are ball jointed, which allows the wings to kind of move upwards, downwards, a little bit forwards and backwards, and kind of can get a little flapping motion there. So articulation is actually pretty limited on this guy. You're not going to get a lot of dynamic poses out of him. Now, Wingnut does include an accessory in the form of a bat that he can hang out with. Now, the bat's completely unpainted. He's just all done in that same color plastic that is seen on Wingnut's wings. And he's kind of hard to really pose with him because you can't really pose him flying or standing or anything like that. So you'll have to get creative and find different ways that Wingnut can hold on to him if you want him in your display. However, I do think it's pretty neat that he includes a sidekick character because that's a longtime staple of Ninja Turtles toys, so he's a fun little extra addition to have with this figure. Now, Wingnut here is pretty short. You can see that standing alongside April or even the Ninja Turtles, he is shorter than all of them. But I don't think he's really supposed to be that big of a character, so scale isn't necessarily an issue on this particular figure like we've seen with some of the others. I'm okay with the size here. Alright guys, it's comparison time. Since he's referred to as Wingnut in the cartoon series, here he is standing alongside the vintage Wingnut action figure. Now like I said before, Wingnut was one of my favorites in the classic toy line. So standing them side by side, you can see there's quite a difference between the two designs, and I am a bit bummed to see a lot of the elements from the vintage one go in this new version. So there you go, guys. There's a look at Kirby Bat, aka Wingnut, from the new Playmates Nickelodeon Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line. The fact that this is April's dad, it's played a pretty pivotal role in Season 2, and it's pretty cool to see him done in action figure form. While I'm not really sure how I feel about the redesign of Wingnut because I liked the vintage one so much, my feelings on the character design aside, the figure itself is still pretty well done. It's a great representation of the way the character looks in the TV series. The articulation is really limited, but the sculpt is really nice and very horrific on this guy. Plus, it's pretty cool that he comes with a little sidekick character, though that bat is definitely no screw loose. Kirby Bat, aka Wingnut, is starting to hit store shelves right now, so happy hunting, and until next time.